Good morning, everyone. My topic for Journal Club is Histopathology of COVID 19 pneumonia in two non oncological, non hospitalized cases as a reliable diagnostic benchmark. The study was conducted by Roberto Scandoni et al. At Institute of Legal Medicine, University of Macerata, Italy, BMC Diagnostic Pathology. Introduction. Although several months have passed since the epidemic spread of the virus, current information on the pathological characteristics of deaths caused by COVID 19 is often variable. In neoplastic patients, especially those with lung cancer, these characteristics can overlap or be difficult to attribute correctly. Authors have presented the detailed pathological findings in two cases of non neoplastic subjects whose out of hospital deaths were caused by COVID 19 infection. They differed in the time of presentation of symptoms and consequently manifested different anatomopathological patterns, the first defining an early phase of the infection and the second showing a later stage. Materials and methods. Data was collected relating to onset of symptoms, progression of symptoms, and the circumstances of these subjects who both died at home were collected. Before autopsy, an oropharyngeal swab for severe acute respiratory syndrome (COV-2) viral RNA was performed, which tested positive in both cases. Case 1 was a 44-year-old man affected by polymyositis without pharmacological treatment who for 3 days presented with fever, marked asthenia and dyspnea followed by progressive cardiorespiratory insufficiency. Case 2 was a 62-year-old woman suffering from hypertension, not undergoing pharmacological treatment, autoimmune hypothyroidism, and type 2 diabetes treated with oral hypoglycemics, deceased after 8 to 9 days of high fever and dyspnea. Methods for histopathology. Tissue samples were fixed in 4% formalin, processed, embedded in paraffin, and two sets of thin sections were obtained. The sections obtained were analyzed under microscope. Method for detection of severe acute respiratory syndrome (COV-2) viral RNA. A naso-oropharyngeal swab kit for COVID-19 sample collection and transport was used. Using a real-time PCR thermal cycler, severe acute respiratory syndrome (COV-2) viral RNA was tested for and detected in both cases. Results. Case 1. Autopsy was conducted. Macroscopic findings included the presence of extremely warm organs and dense blood. The heart examination revealed thrombosis of the anterior descending coronary artery. When the thoracic cavity was opened, the lungs failed to collapse and there was a lack of visible exudates in airways. Both lungs had a thicker consistency, were compact, congested, and edematous. Microscopic findings. Thickening of the alveolar septa because of edema, hemorrhage, and inflammatory cell infiltrations in the interalveolar septa. Mild presence of type 2 hyperplastic pneumocytes and fibroblasts in the alveolar septa. Case 2 autopsy findings show, as in case 1, the organs were extremely warm and the blood was particularly dense. Macroscopic examination revealed intracardiac thrombosis and bilateral massive thromboembolism. Both lungs were markedly edematous and compact. Microscopic findings. Myocardial vascular microthrombosis. In the lungs, there was diffuse alveolar damage with organized hyaline membranes, sometimes with fibrotic aspects. There was presence of scattered large protein globules and expanded alveolar septa with inflammatory infiltrates, fibroblasts, and hyperplastic pneumocytes. Discussion. The two cases present different stages of pulmonary morbidity linked to COVID 19. Respiratory viruses can cause a wide spectrum of pulmonary diseases. In case 1, the exudative phase of acute interstitial pneumonia was observed, indicating acute lung injury, while case 2 exhibited a later phase of diffuse alveolar damage with the development of acute respiratory distress syndrome. The histological findings correlated with the period of manifestation of symptoms. In case 1, the subject met with an early death because of the onset of acute coronary syndrome due to thrombosis of the anterior descending artery related to COVID 19 infection. In case 2, the continuation of the infection caused a pulmonary thromboembolism and in the lungs a proliferative phase with prominent hyaline membranes and moderate fibrotic organization. Conclusion. In the light of this evidence, the following conclusive considerations can be put forward with the aim of providing a better diagnostic therapeutic framework for cancer patients infected with COVID 19. Patients with severe clinical conditions are unlikely to present histopathological alterations of advanced phases of diffuse alveolar damage. Damage to such an extent occurs over a considerable period of time, but a patient with poor clinical prognosis might not survive long enough for diffuse alveolar damage to become completely manifest. An advanced anatomopathological pattern of diffuse alveolar damage, however, could be related to the presence of lung cancer and the results of any chemotherapy treatments or surgery. Although immunocompromised patients are more likely to contact the infection, the COVID 19 course is not always predictable in the presence of a compromised immune response. Nosocomial infections other than COVID 19 responsible for the onset of acute respiratory distress syndrome should not be ruled out for hospitalized patients. Abstract summary. In lung cancer patients infected with COVID 19, pathological features are not easy to distinguish. This report presents detailed histopathological findings in two non-neoplastic subjects whose out-of-hospital deaths were caused by COVID 19 infection. These pure cases differ in the time of presentation of symptoms, the phase of lung anatomopathological patterns, acute lung injury versus diffuse alveolar damage, and the mechanism of death. Results. Subjects with non-oncological individuals free of serious diseases and not hospitalized. Therefore, these are absolutely pure cases of COVID 19 infection with anatomopathological patterns at different stages, not influenced by any other particular conditions. The results provide a valid diagnostic benchmark for evaluating the evolution of COVID 19 pneumonia. Conclusion. It must be taken into account that not all patients react in the same way. The course of COVID 19 is not necessarily ominous in the presence of a compromised immune response and tend to reinforce the emerging therapeutic concepts of a controlled mitigation of the immune cascade following COVID 19 infection. It has been documented that oncological patients who develop an acute respiratory distress syndrome have a significantly higher risk of death compared with those who develop ARDS without cancer. This increased risk appears to be correlated with the increased severity of illness at presentation. With this, I would like to conclude. Thank you.